So David Cutcliffe had his hands on both you and his brother. A little known fact about him, now the head coach at Duke University. So he's very integral with the Manning family, whether it's you or Peyton.
Definitely, he was he coached both of us, and one of the big reasons I went to Ole Miss just because I knew what kind of offense they were going to bring to that school, to Ole Miss, and I knew I liked his style. I knew he liked to throw it. He was a great teacher. He taught you the game of football, and so it was a good mix for Coach Cutcliffe and I.
Before we move on to the pros, what was your more fonder memories at Ole Miss? Looking back at a great college career, I mean, Ole Miss kind of had a little dip there, and you've helped them bring them back a little bit.
Well, there's so many, and the greatest thing about college football, I think, is just the traditions, and playing at Ole Miss, you learn your own school's traditions. One thing I think of is walking through the Grove on Saturday morning. It's a kind of a little walk of champions where you walk through, all the people surround you, you're giving high fives, and you walk through there. It's always to the stadium, before the game, and so I've always been tried to learn the traditions of every school we played, and now I've exceeded to all schools all over the country and get to learn about different ones, and we've always talked about with my brother and fathers that after we get done in our careers to try to hit all the schools and watch a game and learn about the history of it. Obviously, Notre Dame's, the Michigans, Ohio State's, there's so many, Iowa, Nebraska. You can go on forever and just name and try to hit up all these schools and get to experience the college atmosphere, because there's nothing quite like it. And college is so unique and so different from high school or the NFL, just because you're living with all your players. You're all the same age. You all have the same schedule. You all are going to class. You come in together. They're your best friends on and off the field, and you go through everything together. Where you get to the NFL, and now people, you have families. People have kids. You live in different states during the off season. So it's just a unique time in everyone's life where it's a special bonding that you don't get anywhere else.
Hypothetical question. There may be some Notre Dame fans in the house. Could Eli Manning have made it happen at Notre Dame? Was it close?
I don't know. I don't remember getting any letters from Notre Dame. So.
Good answer. Good answer. All right, NFL draft time. Are we going down that road?
If you want.
If you want. All right. What happened there with the whole thing when it came to brass tacks with Eli Manning and the top pick and whatnot? Give us your side of the story.
It was very simple. I was drafted by San Diego, then traded to the Giants, and the story behind that. The story I like to tell. There's other stories that got complicated, but I was drafted by San Diego and not real excited about that. San Diego's a beautiful place. I've been to the city. It's a great place to live, but so I'm doing all my interviews. I did 30 minutes of interviews on a podium talking to the press. I'm just getting hounded. I'm getting scrutinized. Everything's going bad. And so, I finished that. I'm sweating. It's miserable. I'm kind of walking to my next set, and a little 10-year-old kid just busts through the doors, and he yells, Manning's been traded to the Giants. And I'm kind of looking at the PR guy next to me. I said, have you heard anything about this? He said, I haven't heard it. And I'm like, well, why? So he kind of called a few people. He's on his trio or whatever, checking things. He goes, the kid's right. You've been traded to the Giants. And I'm wondering how this kid, how is he the first to know? And
we got to hire him.
I know. So I found him. I signed his hat, and so I think he made it all happen somehow. I don't know how it worked out, but I think the kid, and the rest has been history. And very excited about being with the Giants. A great organization, a great history, great tradition in their organization. So it's a great place to play football.
So you get to the Giants. What's the first thing you notice? I mean, other than the media, who's just absolutely will fight you tooth and nail, little cutthroat.
Yeah, that's Peyton. After I was drafted, he said, or traded with the Giants, he said, Eli, I can help you out with any football question you would know, any X's and O's, dissecting defenses, watching film about your offense. But that New York media, you're on your own there. But it's been fun, and dealing with the media. It's just you try to just take it in perspective. I don't read newspapers. I don't after a win or a loss. I don't watch Sports Center when they talk about the Giants. I keep up with the NFL. I know what's going on in all sports, but anything about myself or our team, I don't listen to there's the so-called experts, as I call them. I think it's self-proclaimed experts is a better term, but I listen to my coaches, I listen to myself, my own analysis, and watch the film and kind of make my decisions from there.
You get going with your career, learning from a pretty good one though, right? Wasn't Kurt Warner in front of you there for a little while? And then that's not a bad thing in the NFL to get your feet wet, because your brother got thrown to the lions a little bit. Of course, he survived that nicely, but there's a couple different ways to go. Which way did you go?
I was drafted the first 9 games. I was a backup. I didn't play. And so the 9th game, they announced, or really the 10th game, they announced me as a starter against Atlanta Falcons, and I was excited, but from there on I went and lost. I lost my first 5 games in a row, so it wasn't a great start. And but the last game of the season, we played the Dallas Cowboys. Neither of us were in the playoffs. It was just kind of a moral victory of any sort, and we went out there and had my first 2-minute drive to win the game. In the last play, we were on the 2-yard line. There's 5 seconds left. It's the last play of the game. No timeouts, and we called 2 plays. We called a pass play and a run play. I had to dissect the defense and pick the right play to call. And I did the right job. I handed the ball off to Tiki Barber, and we scored the touchdown for my first win. So that was a big win for me. One I always remember, kind of getting that first win under your belt and kind of try to use it for some confidence going into the next season.
The Manning Bowl. That was fun for everybody involved. We got a lot of Colts fans in this area, and then certainly to see the Giants fans here, we obviously got a lot of them too. But the Manning Bowl, what was that for you? And was it one of those things where maybe you were just glad, hey, this is kind of over? Yeah,
it was a time where people made it. They called it the Manning Bowl, and Peyton and I, we tried to say it's the Giants versus the Colts. That's what it's about. It's not like I'm going up against Peyton. I wish Peyton was playing defense for the Colts. That would be a great advantage for me. If I looked over and I saw Peyton guarding Plaxico Burress, I can guarantee you where I'm going. He runs a 5.4 40. I'm going right after.
You're being very generous too.
Very nice, very nice. I'm pretty good at when Peyton's not here, I can say whatever I want. So I try to take advantage of it. So we. It was we obviously lost the game. We were kind of both glad it was over with, and it was the hardest on my parents. They just tried to root for the offense. That was their plan the whole day. Just root for the quarterback, and I think my oldest brother Cooper kind of described it the best. They were hoping for a game that 49-48. Where the losing quarterback got most valuable player. So that's kind of what they were rooting for.
Well, obviously an amazing run last year, starting in the playoffs where you guys went away from the Meadowlands, and boy, it's basically what the doctor ordered. You guys just would not lose on the road there.
We did. We lost our first game on the road to the Dallas Cowboys in a high-scoring shootout. And then, the next game we lost to the Green Bay Packers. So we're 0-2 to start the game, and then we go to Washington the following week. We're down 14. We're down 14 points at halftime. We're down 17-3 at halftime. Things are not looking good, and we make a comeback that game. We score with about 3 minutes left to take a 7-point lead. And sure enough, Washington drives right down the field. They get to the 1-yard line with about a minute left, and we stop them for 4 straight plays to win the game. And then from then on, we just got a little confidence underneath us. We won 6 straight after that. Had some bumps and bruises, along the way from there.